everyone, welcome to the video. I'm Diani and this is Pepper. And as you can see, this week we have had a change of scenery. We've finally come down from the tablelands in New South Wales, and as you can tell, we're at the beach. So as far as I know, before this trip, Pepper has never been to the beach. So I was really keen to visit the coast at least once on our travels, just so I could let her see the ocean for the first time. And I was waiting for the school holidays to be over, first of all. And then after that, I had to wait even longer for a window of nice weather, because it seemed like every week I checked the forecast on the coast and it was either going to be too hot or it was raining. But this week we finally got a break and there was a window of a few days where it was going to be fine weather, so I just decided to make a break for it and we headed east, finally left the tablelands, headed down the mountain range towards the coast. Didn't pick the best day to travel because as soon as we hit the mountains it started raining. Driving down that steep windy road in the rain with limited visibility was not fun, but we did make it safely in the end, although we didn't get to appreciate what I'm sure were amazing views on the way down. We stopped overnight in Grafton and we stayed at Jabor Park, which is a donation camp alongside a sporting ground that's run by the Grafton Vintage Car Club. It has excellent facilities, including a dump point, amazing bathrooms, and it's only $20 a night for power and water, which is amazing value. The biggest challenge for me being on the coast is that there are very few free camps and most of the caravan parks and other places are quite expensive. But I found a campground at Corindi Beach that was just $25 a night. The campsite was lovely, a natural bush setting with sites scattered around the paperbark trees. The caravan park up the road, while it was right on the beach, was more than double the price and the people there were packed in like sardines. But this campground just felt a lot more relaxed and the sites were more spaced out, so it didn't feel as crowded. The amenities were basic but excellent. This shower room was bigger than my bus. As soon as we were set up, I took Pepper through town for our first walk to the beach. Corindi Beach is small, but it has a little general store that also sells great burgers and other takeaway food. And there's a post office here too. Pepper was definitely amazed when she got her first glimpse of the ocean. She just stopped and stared at it for quite a while, and I really wish I could know what she was thinking. She wasn't sure about walking on the beach at first, and she definitely didn't like the waves chasing her. But I could tell she was fascinated by all the new smells. We spent a couple of days at Corindi Beach, walking to the beach in the mornings and the afternoons and relaxing at camp during the heat of the day. We could walk through town to get to the beach, but I much preferred to walk across the oval from the campground to where there was a track through the bush onto the dunes. After 3 days, Pepper still wouldn't go in the water. But I do think she enjoyed exploring the beach. There was always a lot of seaweed and dead corals washed up on the shore, and Pepper took great delight in rolling on these stinky treasures. After leaving Corindi Beach, we headed a little bit further south to the town of Woolgoolga. It was a busy little place, with a caravan park right on the beach and holiday makers everywhere. We drove straight through town and up onto the headland, where we actually managed to find a park that was big enough for the bus. We're doing the Woolgoolga headland walk here, which is a paved walkway that goes all the way around the headland and a little bit into the town as well. It's totally dog friendly, and even on a day like today when there's a bit of cloud around, the views are absolutely spectacular. Just be aware though, even though it's paved the whole way, there are some pretty steep hills, so definitely gets the leg muscles working. It was quite warm that day and very muggy, and both Pepper and I were starting to feel a bit hot and tired, so I decided not to follow the path all the way into town, and instead we just did the section of the track that went around the headland itself. We stopped here for a bit to have some lunch and admire the view, and then we kept heading south. Our next stop was the Korora East State Forest, just north of Coffs Harbour. I managed to park the bus at the trailhead for the Gumgali track, a 1.5 kilometre return walk to the Korora lookout. There were various artworks along the way depicting the First Nations story of Gumgali, the black goanna who escaped the hunters on land by burrowing underground and emerging up from the sea off the headland. Pepper wasn't quite convinced that this guy wasn't real. There's also a soundscape at the lookout where you can hear the story of Gumgali, spoken in both Aboriginal language and in English. If you follow the road further into the forest, about 1 kilometre from the Gumgali trailhead, you'll come to Sealy Lookout and the Forest Sky Pier, where there's a cantilevered platform that rises about 15 metres above the forest. The view from here is spectacular. I would have stayed longer, but it was hot and Pepper was actually quite scared walking out onto the platform. I could tell she was tired and had had enough sightseeing for one day, so we ventured on and arrived in the noisy, busy city of Coffs Harbour. We stayed at the Clog Barn, a quirky little caravan park that was right on the highway. It was noisy and crowded, but the staff were friendly and the amenities were clean. And it was so hot and humid in Coffs Harbour that being able to plug into power and use the aircon was a real blessing. There's a cafe at the Clog Barn, as well as a shop that sells every kind of Dutch-related souvenir you can possibly imagine. They also have clog making demonstrations too. Behind the shop is a quirky little model village with lots of miniature buildings and scenes of Dutch life, all handmade by the Clog Barn owner Tom Hartsoiker. Admission is free, so it's a fun little place to stop, even if you're not staying here, and dogs are welcome, although Pepper didn't seem very impressed. While we were in Coffs Harbour, we did the Coffs Creek Walk, an 8.5 kilometre loop trail that winds around the creek and through the mangroves in town. It's a mix of bush track, sealed walkways, suburban paths and boardwalks, some of which are dog friendly like this timber one, and others like this mesh platform are not so dog friendly. There are unfortunately a few of these on the trail. If you've got a little dog, you can just pick them up and carry them over these sections, but if you're like me and your dog weighs 30 kilos or more, it's a little bit more challenging. Pepper did manage to walk across them, but I could tell she wasn't happy about it. I just went really slow and gave her plenty of time to do it, and we managed. And it was worth the effort. Despite being right in town, it was actually quite a peaceful, scenic walk. It took us several hours to do it though, especially as we added on a detour to check out the Coffs Harbour jetty. There was a little van in the park near the jetty that sold freshly made fruit ice cream, so I ordered a mixed berry one and I shared it with Pepper. It was the perfect treat on a very humid day and gave us the energy to continue on the trail all the way back to the bus. Yummy, hey? Oh guys, that's the end of our little visit to the coast. It's been a good few days. We did have some nice weather, bit stiff and sore after all the walking we've done, but yeah, really enjoyed it. And I think Pepper enjoyed getting out and about too, even if she wasn't 100% sure about the beach. But right now, I think it's time for us to head back inland. After 2 days in the city here in Coffs Harbour, I'm a little bit over it, to be honest. The constant noise and the traffic and the people everywhere. I mean, it's our first time back in the city since we left Queensland in December last year. And oh my goodness, I just cannot wait to get back into the country, somewhere where it's peaceful and quiet and nobody else around. And even Pepper's been a bit unsettled the last couple of days, so I think we both need a reset. We need to head back inland, find a nice campsite in the bush somewhere where there's no other people around and we can just relax and recharge our batteries. So I'm not really sure which direction we're going to head in. I have no idea where we're going to end up, but I guess wherever we end up, we'll see you in a future video.